Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crowning Moment. We're continuing on with our High School America series. This year, we have with us today the Miss South Carolina Collegiate, and she goes by Rue, but I want to say her name correctly. Ngaarumbidzwe with us, and we're going to bring her into the chat so we can get today's episode started. Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I am great. Okay, so let's go ahead and just talk about that shiny crown that you have on your head. What has it been like being Miss South Carolina Collegiate America?
Well, it's interesting. I think now when I step into a room and people know it, it's like the air in the room kind of changes. And that's something that I wasn't expecting when I got the title. But honestly, it's phenomenal. It's like surreal. I think it's allowed me to get in touch with my community a lot more and just to inspire a lot more people. I know I've seen a lot of little girls who look like me who get really excited when they see me with the crown. And I think it's a life-changing experience that I wasn't expecting to have when I got the crown. It comes and it goes and it comes, and I'm like taking it day by day, I think.
That is amazing. Well, tell me, why did you choose to compete in this system? I know I've seen you on stages before, but why this specific pageant?
It was a spur of the moment. I know that they reached out to me when they were doing their new pageant again for Grayson to give away her title, and I texted my mom and I said, "Should we compete?" And we said, "Okay, fine." And I asked them about like what were the criteria to compete, and I did a little bit of research about the pageant itself, and I learned that it's like an immersive experience, and it's a very holistic kind of. We want you to make sure that you're having the best time and that you are doing the best to improve yourself and the world. And that was something that I really aligned myself with. So I did it. I just decided. I was like, I'm going to do it.
That is great. Okay, a little bit before we started, kind of behind the scenes for you guys, we chatted a little bit about the first time I actually had seen you compete on stage, which was at the Miss South Carolina MAO competition for teen, I want to say. And I was telling you ahead of time, like before when you started, I was just blown away. You have this essence that you bring to the stage that truly is amazing. And not a lot of people have that. And so I want to talk about, why did you start competing in pageants, either for yourself or even just to better your resume?
Well, so initially I had moved back. So I did, my family's originally from Zimbabwe, and I've grown up here for most of my life. And then we moved back and I did high school. So when I got back from high school in 2020, I was now at a new school down in Aner, South Carolina, and I didn't have any friends. And so they were doing a pageant, and I was like, I'm going to do a pageant so I can go and make some friends. And I got a dress because my aunt makes a lot of my dresses, and she's a seamstress. So she made me a dress, and I competed. And I met a lot of people. And then after that, it was like walking through the hallways and people saying, "Oh, I saw you at the pageant. You were so amazing." And then I got a lot more in touch with my community. And I think that first experience of me just wanting to gain a community is what allowed me to learn like the ropes of pageantry, that idea of having a platform, advocating for something. I've always advocated for something throughout my life, but being in pageantry and being allowed to like do the things I love. I'm a theater major, so I love performing, but then still advocacy and being in touch with the community service, things like that kind of brought everything that I really like about being here into one package and being a part of pageantry. And then I still have a sisterhood and still have that community that I searched for when I first joined it.
Definitely a big sisterhood when it comes to the High School America situation. Organization as a whole, there is almost 40 girls coming from South Carolina to the national competition, which is crazy for you guys bringing so many different at-larges as well as the state for North Carolina and South Carolina. I want to talk about, what are you most excited for going into that national competition?
Going into nationals, I think I'm most excited for some rock climbing. I know there's like some excursions that we're gonna do, and I'm someone who loves adventure and exploring. So I'm definitely excited for that. I'm also excited to meet everyone else who's gonna compete. I think it's incredible that there's so many people and talented, smart, ambitious young women representing all different states. And I think just getting to meet people who are also as ambitious as I am, who are ready and willing to make a change, that's something I'm really excited to do. But also, like, I want to go mining. Just a little bit, just hang out.
That's what a lot of that has been the number one topic that people bring up going to nationals is doing those fun
Oh
excursions. I
yeah.
know watching from the outside and this year I get to go and like kind of see all the behind the scenes, but it's always been the number one thing. You're like, "Oh my goodness, they are, zip lining or rock
Oh
climbing
yeah.
or going different places, doing, community pickups with trash or whatever they have in the area in Little Rock, Arkansas," which I swear, I think the High School America system put Little Rock on the map because I had
Well,
never heard of it.
I have never heard of Little Rock before until this pageant right now. I'm like, okay, we're gonna go. But I mean, I guess now it exists. I don't know. But yeah.
Exactly. With, the collegiate title, there is something big, shiny, and has four wheels that can possibly be yours at the end of this journey. Have you thought about what it's like that you could be winning a Jeep at the end of this?
I again, I'm someone who likes to take everything day by day. So like thinking about the Jeep is a little bit of a daunting thought. It's kind of far away,
Yes.
but I have thought about it, and I think that's an incredible opportunity. First of all, because I only recently just got my license, and just thinking about like having a car, etc. That's a big opportunity, and I'm very glad that the Miss America organization is even like willing to provide that, especially for all of these young women competing, and even just the numerous opportunities from many sponsors that they do provide. So I think, like at a larger scale, whoa, it's like a big. Okay, then at a smaller scale, it's like, oh, cool. I think for me, what's most important is the journey and not the result. So I really like the process, and it's why I emphasize so much about taking things step by step, day by day, because the most exciting thing for me is getting to go out every day, getting to have these interviews, talk to these little kids, be a part of my community. And the Jeep is like a little add-on to that, a nice
Yeah.
add-on, but it is a little bit of an add-on.
So with that process and the journey to get to the crown for nationals, I mean, what is this behind the scenes process looking like for you preparing for this, amazing opportunity that you have in front of you?
So far, it's been really, really busy. It's like a mix of kind of prepping, talking to my state directors. We had a retreat recently where we also did a lot of work, a lot of workshops that we worked on. It's a lot of little things that you don't think would add up in the end that are adding up. Visiting sponsors, looking for outfits, and also what can I do in my community up until the day that I leave? How can I get involved? Where do I need to be to assist my community? And that's been a big thing for me, especially and being here in Charleston, because I'm at college. So it's kind of trying to balance my college life, and then also balance the ways that I have to deal with my title, my platform. What am I going to do with it, even sitting here in my dorm? So it's kind of balancing both of those things, but it's really exhilarating for me, I would say.
So with this whole process, what do you think has been the hardest part of preparation going into this?
Time management. For me, I have always struggled with like managing my time. I have two calendars up right now on my closet door. It's like just learning how to balance my life around, because I'm a double major. So learning how to balance my workload plus the work that I do in general, plus the community service, plus the prepping for nationals. It's really just that was the biggest thing for me. And then the biggest thing that helped as well was having state directors, Crystal and Candy and Marler. These are people that are constantly here to kind of guide me, let me know, here's what you can do to help you with your time. And then we also have like an appearance coordinator, Danielle, and she's someone who kind of gives us those opportunities and makes sure that like weeks in ahead, I know what I'm going to be doing, because that's really helped me. But the hardest part was definitely managing my life and my schedule and my time.
Exactly. And with you being at college, definitely that time management skill is something being a double major, that is crazy. What are you actually majoring in Charleston?
I'm majoring in theater and international studies right now. And so I have a concentration in international studies and African studies, and a concentration in theater and theater studies. So I'm going to be
Wow.
doing, getting into directing and diplomacy.
I was gonna ask, what is your next step? So if you could do anything after college, everything's done, what would your dream job be?
Um, I want to get into being an ambassador. especially doing outreach for like the UN and the African Union as well, the AU. I really want to get into doing that. And then I'm also very passionate about theater directing, but first and foremost, it would be doing that work to become a diplomat.
That is amazing. Okay, I always like to ask this question. I actually have a friend that at my gym that he's also from Zimbabwe.
Oh.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy when you said that. I was like, I cannot wait to tell Tish about this. But with this, do you have something that your family does culturally that pulls back to your ties in Zimbabwe? It can be a food, it can be an event kind of thing.
Wow, okay. A food or an event. Well, one big thing for me recently, or just in general, is we like to have braais. Like for my family, we love to have braais every Sunday. So a braai is like what we would call like a cookout, like a grill. And it's just having like a bunch of cultural meals and like just meat. And I don't eat meat, so like that's a fun part. But so like we learn to like navigate around like grilling vegetables and grilling like mushrooms for me. But just having sadza and having family together, I think it's really about community, building community, and having a bunch of family, a bunch of friends over just to eat and share a meal together. That's one of my favorite things. And then the other thing would probably be like we had a wedding recently as well. So kind of the rituals that we do to get to like the marriage customs, those are one of my favorite parts as well.
That is awesome. Well, it's such a cool thing. I always like to ask because you never know, there's always something cool that someone can bring to the table, especially culturally. That is something that people sometimes forget about or don't tap into. When you have people around you that do different things than you do, it's just always interesting to ask, like, what is your thing? What do you do? And I really like asking that with pageant queens. There's always something new and interesting to learn from everyone. But before we log off today, I want to ask you one more quick question before we get to the final moments. But if someone is to enter into the next pageant, what would be your encouraging words to tell them to just go ahead and do it?
I would tell them to try. I think I've always been raised in a household that's encouraged me no matter what to try, even if you fail. And I think that's the core thing about pageantry. It's putting yourself out there. I've gained so much community, so much platform, and so much confidence from doing pageantry that I think the most scary thing about it is the moment before you get on stage. So I would always just say, put yourself out there, try and be yourself. You don't have to change any part of yourself to be successful in pageantry. I think the most successful thing that can come from you is just being authentic. So try, put yourself out there, and stay true to who you are.
That is amazing. Well, we've come to that point in the podcast where I like to ask everyone the same final question. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. In what way has pageants positively impacted you?
They have honestly changed my life for a better way. They've allowed me to be an advocate in every single aspect of my life and to bring all the aspects that I love and that I'm passionate about into one title, into one platform, into one stage. And I think that has been the most beneficial for my self-image, my confidence, and the way that I walk into a room and impact everybody else. It's just helped me to be just exceptional in everything that I do, and to meet people who are exceptional and encourage others to be exceptional and to build a community that is exceptional. That's honestly what it's done for me in general.
That is just such a good thing to hear. I love asking that question because everyone has something different that they've gotten out of this community for sure. And I definitely can attest that just the way that you walk into a room and capture the audience, whether it's on stage or literally just walking into any sort of room it is, whether being off stage, you truly have made a difference. And it's just so great to have you on here today. But I want to truly thank you for joining us on today's episode of the Crowning Moment in the series for High School America Organization.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, guys, stay tuned. We have a few more of our Collegiate America from North Carolina and South Carolina coming out soon. Within the next 2.5 weeks, we're trying to get them all in before their national competition. So make sure to check her out at her social media handle. It is under her name, or it is at sc.collegiateamerica. But thank you so much, Rue, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone.